Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, General Hospital Diaries. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Britt found herself walking through the familiar corridors of General Hospital, her mind a jumble of emotions she wasn't ready to confront. The past few days had been tense, to say the least, and every interaction she had seemed charged with an undercurrent of something unspoken. As she rounded a corner, she nearly collided with someone, and looking up, she saw Pascal standing there, his usual calm demeanor in place, but with a hint of urgency in his eyes. "Britt," he said, his voice catching slightly, "I didn't expect to see you here." Britt stiffened for a moment, unsure of what to say. Pascal's presence was always unsettling in some way, a reminder of secrets and unfinished business. I could say the same to you," she replied cautiously, her hands tightening around the strap of her bag. Pascal studied her for a moment, his gaze lingering, before he finally stepped closer. "We need to talk," he said. There was no mistaking the seriousness in his tone, and Britt felt a familiar tension knotting in her stomach. She knew that whatever he was about to say would force her to confront realities she wasn't ready to face. Meanwhile, across town, Brook Lynn was pacing nervously, her thoughts consumed by Ned's latest activities. Something about the situation didn't sit right with her. She could feel it in her bones, the sense of impending danger that seemed to hover around Ned lately. Olivia, noticing her friend's unease, tried to offer reassurance, but Brook Lynn's worry was contagious. "He's reckless," Brook Lynn muttered, running a hand through her hair. "I can't shake the feeling that he's in over his head this time." Olivia nodded, her eyes reflecting the same worry. "We've seen him take risks before, but this feels different. There's something he's not telling us, and I don't like it." Back at the hospital, Britt and Pascal were already deep in conversation. Pascal's expression was a mixture of concern and determination, a rare combination that Britt couldn't ignore. "Britt, you have to understand," Pascal began, choosing his words carefully. "There are things happening that you're not aware of, things that could affect you directly. I need your trust on this." Britt swallowed hard, her mind racing. Trusting Pascal was never simple. His charm and sincerity often masked motives she wasn't always privy to, and yet, in that moment, she sensed a vulnerability in him that made her hesitate. "All right," she said finally, "I'll listen. But you have to be honest with me, Pascal. No games." Pascal nodded solemnly, relieved that she was willing to hear him out. "No games," he confirmed. "There's a situation with Ned, one that involves more people than you realize. And it's escalating quickly. I didn't want to pull you into this, but I think you should know what's at stake." Meanwhile, Brook Lynn and Olivia were trying to piece together Ned's latest actions. They knew he had a way of getting himself into dangerous situations, often without fully considering the consequences. Brook Lynn's mind kept drifting to past incidents, to the times when Ned's impulsiveness had put them all on edge. "We need to find him before it's too late," Brook Lynn said firmly, her worry giving way to determination. Olivia nodded in agreement, her expression tightening with resolve. "If he's in trouble, we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure he's safe. We can't just wait around." Back with Britt and Pascal, the conversation grew more intense. Pascal's words were careful but urgent, revealing just enough to alarm Britt without giving away the entire picture. "There are people watching," he said quietly, glancing over his shoulder as if expecting someone to be nearby. "Ned is in more danger than anyone realizes, and this could have ripple effects for everyone connected to him." Britt's heart sank. The thought of Ned being in danger, combined with Pascal's serious tone, made her stomach churn. She had always known that Ned had a way of getting caught up in situations beyond his control, but this felt different. "What do you mean by ripple effects?" she asked cautiously. Pascal hesitated for a fraction of a second, then spoke with quiet intensity. "I mean that if something happens to Ned, it won't just affect him. It could change things for people like you, people we care about, and even the hospital itself. There's more at play here than just one person's choices." As Britt absorbed his words, the weight of the situation began to settle on her shoulders. She realized that this wasn't just about Ned anymore. It was about everyone who was connected to him, including herself. And with that realization came a sense of urgency she couldn't ignore. Meanwhile, Brook Lynn and Olivia were already mobilizing, determined to locate Ned before the situation escalated. They knew the hospital better than most, and they had contacts who could provide insight, but even with all their resources, the uncertainty gnawed at them. Every minute that passed without word from Ned heightened their anxiety. "We need to think like him," Brook Lynn said, pacing the floor. "We need to anticipate where he might go, what he might do, and who could be influencing him. If we can predict his moves, we have a better chance of keeping him safe." Olivia nodded, pulling out her phone and starting to make calls. "I'll reach out to the people who might have information," she said. "We'll track him down, and we'll do it quickly." Back with Britt and Pascal, the tension continued to build. Pascal leaned in closer, lowering his voice even further. "There are risks," he said, "but there are also opportunities. If we act carefully, we might be able to prevent anything serious from happening. But it requires swift decisions and absolute focus." Britt nodded, feeling the gravity of the situation. She knew that hesitation could be dangerous, that indecision could cost them more than they were willing to risk. "All right," she said firmly. "What's the first step?" Pascal outlined a careful plan, one that required coordination and discretion. Every detail mattered, and Britt realized that her ability to stay calm under pressure would be tested. As they spoke, she felt a mix of fear and determination, knowing that the outcome of their actions could have far-reaching consequences. Meanwhile, Brook Lynn and Olivia were getting closer to piecing together Ned's movements. They followed leads, asked questions, and analyzed patterns, trying to predict where he might be heading next. Each discovery added urgency to their mission, pushing them to act faster. "The pieces are coming together," Brook Lynn said, her eyes scanning the notes she had gathered. "We might actually have a chance to intercept him before things get worse." Olivia nodded, her expression tense but resolute. "Then we don't waste a second. Let's move." As the day progressed, the tension in Port Charles continued to mount. Britt and Pascal's efforts to navigate the situation intersected with Brook Lynn and Olivia's search, creating a web of urgency, strategy, and high stakes. Every conversation, every decision carried weight, and every choice could influence the outcome. Back at the hospital, Britt found herself reflecting on the interconnectedness of their lives. Pascal's warnings were a reminder that no one acted in isolation, that the choices of one person could have consequences for everyone around them. And with that awareness came a resolve she hadn't felt in a long time, a determination to protect those she cared about, even in the face of uncertainty. As Brook Lynn and Olivia continued their search for Ned, the atmosphere grew charged with anticipation. They knew the clock was ticking, that every passing moment increased the stakes. Their focus was unwavering, and their commitment to finding him and ensuring his safety drove their every move. Finally, as evening approached, the various threads of urgency and tension began to converge. Britt and Pascal's careful planning met Brook Lynn and Olivia's relentless pursuit, creating a moment of potential confrontation, revelation, or rescue. The air was thick with anticipation, and everyone involved felt the weight of the decisions that had led them to this point. And in the midst of it all, Ned's fate hung in the balance, a constant reminder that in Port Charles, every action had consequences, and every connection mattered. The day's events had tested alliances, revealed hidden motives, and underscored the delicate balance between risk and protection. As the scene drew to a close, viewers were left with a sense of suspense, knowing that the story was far from over. Britt's encounter with Pascal, the concern of Brook Lynn and Olivia, and the unseen dangers surrounding Ned all pointed toward an unfolding drama that promised more twists, more revelations, and more emotional stakes in the episodes to come. Port Charles was a city where secrets rarely stayed buried, where danger often lurked in unexpected corners, and where loyalty and courage were tested daily. Tuesday's events were a vivid reminder that in this world, nothing could be taken for granted, and that every character's choices had the power to change everything. As night fell over the city, the tension remained, setting the stage for the next chapter in this complex, intertwined tale of love, danger, and unspoken truths. And while the immediate threats loomed large, the resilience and determination of those who cared for one another shone through, offering hope amidst the uncertainty and a promise that the story was far from finished. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.